So MFA from Mills College that the cockatoo told you to go and receive. I love this idea of the Charlotte's Web cockatoo leaving messages for you. Um, uh, you wrote for a while. You submitted to agents. Are you still writing? Do you have plans to write eventually?
Yes, I have dreams. You know, in the middle of agenting, I had my daughter, and you know, being a new mom was no joke. And so something had to give, and I didn't want to give up agenting. So the thing that gave was writing. I've done a few short stories here and there, you know, and I have some really fun ideas for some novels. I'd written a few novels before I had my daughter, so I know I can do it. But I was thinking when she was going to go to school this year, she was supposed to go to TK. I was like, oh, I can start writing again, but you know, global pandemic. Shelter in place. She was home 24/7, so that kind of went out the window, because I really, you know, I used the time that I had to age it, basically. But yeah, I've found though the longer I've been in agenting, the less my dreams are of being published, and the more they are of writing something, you know, that's kind of something lovely and small and maybe even indie. You know, I don't necessarily want to have a major launch anymore. But not that I would turn it down, but you know, it just, I really enjoy being behind the scenes. So yeah.
That's interesting. If it's not getting too personal, when did that change for you?
You know, I think it changed the more I learned about the industry. So the more I learned about you know, how complicated it is, the path you need to navigate to get there. You know, that it's, that the audience for certain genres are fairly small, that, you know, you don't necessarily need to be a household name to be a happy and successful writer. And, you know, given that, you know, I do have a career as an agent, I would no longer need writing to be a full-time career. So, you know, I don't know, there's a little bit of a balance there, but I just really enjoy those quiet novels that maybe don't get all the buzz and maybe don't even get picked up because they're quiet. Definitely try to sell a couple of those and been disappointed that there's no vision for it on the other end. But yeah, so that's what I'm drawn to, and I think that kind of shifted in the last couple of years, actually.
Well, let's Mary Seymour, have you ever seen a flying saucer and or a ghost?
No, but I have seen a unicorn.
Go on.
Yes. I was 5, maybe 6. I don't know. I was a young girl driving in the middle of the night out to our very rural, very dark cabin, and on that dirt road, and there were just these 2 white unicorns that just ran by our car, and I watched with shock and awe, and then, you know, got home and was like, is there wild horses around here? You know, but all our neighbors' horses were brown. So I don't know. I still to this day have no idea what it was.
And they had like glowing horns, so
yeah.
you could actually see that?
Yeah, I mean, not glowing, but they had horns. I don't know. I have no idea.
Why did I do? You said it was dark. I didn't know if that would, you know, kind of help. Help where they were going, like a headline.
I don't know to this day, but I always had a fascination with the unicorns, and then then the unicorns became kind of a craze. I think about 10 years ago, and it just went all downhill from there.
I'm watching our time, and it's gone. I have used it all, but my God, we covered so much. I think this has just been a phenomenal episode. Thank you so much for making the time. My final question for you is always some variation of this, and that is, if there was one or however many pieces of advice you would want to impart to every author listening that you think might make a huge difference in their career, might make them a better client for when they reach you, what would you like for them to take away from this?
I would say 2 things. 1, read. a lot, read in your genre, read, I guess it's going to turn into three things. While you're reading, have a vision for what you want your career to look like, like what kind of writer you want to be. Be prepared for that to change, because it does change, but for the most part, try to have not just an end point, but a point that you want to get to as a writer, meaning like, do you want to be a middle grade writer? Do you want to be, a nonfiction writer? Do you want, and then hold on to that vision while you develop your drafts. And also be always working on the next project. When you're querying, you should be working on something new, because that query could take a year to get an agent, I mean, especially right now. I'm ashamed to say that my response time has tripled over the last year, and I'm imagining that's probably the same for many agents. So always be working on that next project, so that you're just going to keep getting better and better and better, and that's going to, and by being able to focus on the next project, that's going to help you navigate a lot of the sort of emotional up and downs that come with publishing. Even if you do land the dream where you get the agent and then you get the deal, and then you get, you're still going to have the same fears, the same insecurities that you had as just a slush pile querying author, So in order to sort of help those insecurities and fears, have your keep your passion alight by looking forward and writing something new.